It takes 2 minutes, give or take, to walk the length of a 600-foot train. So why did the NYPD close out thousands of complaints about disorderly conduct here at Coney Island Stillwell Avenue in just 13 seconds, which is less time than you've been watching this video? Experts say that's because the 34th Transit District has taken a hands-off approach to helping people who are apparently experiencing homelessness. Long-standing MTA rules enforced by the City Police Department require that everyone exit the train at the end of the line. The rule exists so MTA crews can step on the trains, quickly clean and repair them, and so that when nobody becomes an unwitting victim of crime. But here at Coney Island Stillwell Avenue, our analysis found that hasn't been happening. Streetsblog crunched the numbers on calls made to the NYPD about people in crisis here at Coney Island. 2/3 of the cases, more than 5,000 in total, were closed out in less than a minute. Those cases stayed open for just 13 seconds on average. That's despite an explosion of reports about disruptive behavior or emotional distress at the station since 2018. Transit Chief told Streetsblog that the reports are being closed so quickly because officers are filing the reports on their phones after removing someone from the train, opening and shutting the cases instantaneously. But former NYPD officers interviewed by Streetsblog said the chief's explanation misses the entire point. It makes it harder for the public to understand how the police department is responding to these complaints and to hold them accountable. There are also major disparities in how the different kinds of calls are handled. If a person poses an imminent risk to themselves or to others, the call is supposed to be for an emotionally disturbed person. This prompts a major response. An ambulance is dispatched and a supervisor is called. The second type of call is for a disorderly person. A disorderly person call can cover a range of behaviors, from smoking on a train to standing between the cars to sleeping on a bench seat. The NYPD's own data shows that calls for people in emotional distress are down 20% over the last 3 years. However, the calls for disorderly behavior are way up. Veteran cops we spoke to said the discrepancy is likely because calls for people in emotional distress generates a lot of paperwork. Streetsblog visited this station a number of times late at night during the winter, and we found the trains weren't being cleared, that in many cases, the same needy folks who arrived on the train when it got here at Coney Island left on the train when it headed back to Manhattan. One of the nights we visited the station, we saw a couple of dozen cops on duty, plus 2 homeless outreach teams from the Bowery Residents Committee. The outreach teams are supposed to talk to folks who appear to be homeless as they're exiting the trains. They're supposed to offer them a bed and a shelter, or medical attention if they desire it. But broadly speaking, the nights we were here, we saw very little of that. People weren't being asked to leave the trains, and they weren't being offered a bed in a nearby shelter. The top brass at the New York City Police Department have acknowledged that they need to crack down on quality of life enforcement on the New York City subway system.